recreating your life through the awareness of looking at and questioning your daily habits. I'm Pascal Pam, your catalyst for transformation. And if we are looking for change, if we are wanting change, it doesn't have to be on a grand physical scale. It doesn't have to be a new car, a new house, exercising our body and dieting so we look different. It doesn't have to be just that. It can be changes that make us feel like we are renewed or refreshed by living, thinking, and being differently. Now, when I say be aware of your habits, we've all collected habits over time that we will look at and go, God, I hate myself after I do this, this, and this. And I do that every night, or I do that every morning, or whatever it is. And it's usually tied to automatic pilot, just checking out, whether it's numbing out or just checking out because we don't want to think or feel, and we're doing that thing, whatever it is. Whatever it is helping us to not think about the fact that we are bored or unhappy or whatever it is, or that we do want something new. And the only way that we can get to that essence, that what is it that's nudging at me, is to really embody your body. It always comes back to your body. I have learned that my intuition is the driving force, and has been the driving force, whether I paid attention to it or not, but is the driving force to leading me to changes. Now, when we say we want to change, guess what? We are in unknown and uncertain territory. We say we want to recreate our life or make changes, but then when it's happening, you actually can feel very uncomfortable, very scared, depending on what choices you're making to make that change. And yet that's all part of the process. That is all part of the process. I was raised in a family where there were no spontaneous, unexpected kinds of things. It was all planned out. And growing up, that is good. You need a safe environment. But when you're older and you want to explore the world, or you want to explore who you are, that's not always a good thing. That is not always a good thing. And for me, I've had to take small risks and small steps. And I tell you, once you take those steps or those risks, you cannot go back to the way you are. You actually don't want to go back to the way you are, the way you were. You don't want to, because in hindsight, as you move forward and you expand and grow and create new things for yourself, as well as new adventures in your life, in hindsight, you look back and go, wow, I was not that happy. In fact, I was very unhappy. And then you can actually look at and reflect on all the things that you've done, that you did back then, that were actually just kind of like covering up the fact that you didn't like something about your life, that you didn't like something that you were doing or participating in. And that's the first step in change, is to take those steps and those risks into the unknown, into something that you've always wanted to do. It could be something very simple like taking a class, or going for a hike, or going to an area in your city that you've always wanted to see an art gallery, to do whatever. But here's the key. You can either do it with a friend, but I have found that the more I do by myself, the more I realize more about myself, the more I reflect inward, the more I'm able to be aware of what brings me joy, of not only what I'm doing that's something new, but something new might trigger something in my brain to go, you know what? I'm realizing that I don't like that part of myself. I'm realizing that I don't want to do that because that's not who I am anymore. And with change can be sadness because it's almost like a death of sorts. You've always done that habit, you've always done that whatever. It's almost like your arm, it's almost like a part of you that when you stop doing that or being that, that it's almost like a death inside. And you might even feel grief about it. And that's all part of the process. The hardest part of making changes is to make the changes without judging how you feel about it. And we shouldn't be judging ourselves anyway for anything. If we do something that doesn't bring us joy, then we make a new choice. We shouldn't judge and use guilt or shame or whatever it is. It's like, that's done. It's in the past. I'm going to be making new choices. What is hard is when people don't allow you to move forward. And that's when you need to find a different tribe. That's another part of the changes in process, is don't hang around those people who don't support the changes you want to make. You've always been a certain way with people. And if they no longer want to hang out with you, or they no longer call you, or they may be saying things that aren't very positive behind your back because you've made changes, that's not your tribe. You have to set those boundaries and limit that time and know that what you're doing, as long as your body's telling you this is the right thing, listening to intuition, taking those risks and steps, and finding the people who say, you can do it. Finding those people who say, you know what, I've always thought that you were the kind of person that should do, or I shouldn't say should, because that's always got a negative connotation to it. But I always ask people who've supported you, like, how have you seen me? And not that you are depending on their opinion, but it can help be a guide. And plus, they can be your cheerleader. But not everybody's going to be your cheerleader. And when you get that sense from somebody that they're actually kind of trying to make you not take risks, to make you, hey, stop trying those things. You're really good at it, but don't do that. I don't like that part of you. Then that's when you have to decide, is this my supportive tribe? And that can be a habit. You've always hung out with that person. You've always gone to your family members all the time, but now you're starting to feel like the lack of support is there. That's not where you should be spending your time. You can always set boundaries, say you're busy, say something, something's going on, and just not go and find the tribe that does say, you are the best. You can do this. And even when things don't work out, there's still the people who go, you know what? It's just a setback. You can still move forward. You are doing great. Everybody needs a cheerleader. And sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader when nobody really is around and you feel alone. You can be your own cheerleader. That's the best part. There are peaks and valleys on everybody's path in life. Everybody's. You are not alone in that as you start to unfold and figure it out. But you are here for a reason, and this time is so important as the human consciousness is growing in potentiality for what is possible, what is positively possible. So, find your tribe, recreate your life, and it doesn't have to be huge physical changes. It can simply be changing those thoughts, changing the habits. And instead of sitting in front of the TV at night, go out for a walk. I know that sounds very basic, but nature is as close to spirit as we can get. And that helps you listen to your intuition, to that voice that's saying, try this, go there, call that person, go over here. Listen to that voice. You have all the wisdom inside of you to do whatever it is you want to do. Take those steps and recreate your life. And I'll see you in a couple weeks.